Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Um, I've had a bunch of people send me emails, text messages, instant messages on Facebook, and just checking on me because I didn't do a lot of videos yesterday, and I didn't do a fireside chat, and it's kind of late this morning that I'm getting this going. Um, I kind of checked out yesterday with everything that's going on. I just had to withdraw for a bit because it's been a lot to take in this year. Um, to see Minneapolis go through everything it did, it's kind of crazy because I was in Minneapolis for the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And then now to see Atlanta getting ready to go through a whole lot as well. You know, I was there at the Super Bowl the year before that, or was it the year after that? And it's just kind of crazy, the coronavirus and the amount of people that we've lost and have been sick, seeing so many people unemployed. It's just like it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, where are we going? When will this change? We are in the beginning of the summer. We started this stuff at the end of winter, and it just seems like there's no end to anything. And so I literally just had to just shut off for a while. And so here I am this morning. As we sit 91 days, 9 hours, 19 minutes, and 40 seconds away from hopefully kickoff of the Dallas Cowboys versus the Rams. Tomorrow night, ESPN is doing a special, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and I think I'll probably try and carry some of it. Although with ESPN, I don't know if I can. Maybe I'll have to watch and just kind of recap it as it goes on, because ESPN will literally stop your stream if you're using anything from it, whether you're monetizing it or not. But what we're going to have is the six major sports leagues: NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, soccer, hockey, and the women's NBA, that their commissioners all would be together, as well as some general managers, I think, and maybe some coaches will be there for a discussion and roundtable of getting sports back on. And there's a lot of problems that are going on. I know a lot of people have moved on. The funny thing is a year ago, right now, I would have been in Puerto Rico, already up, driving. No, actually, I wouldn't be driving. I'd already be there. I'd be leading a team of volunteers, rebuilding homes. And the funny thing about it, or I should say the sad thing about it, was when I first talked about I was going to Puerto Rico to volunteer to help rebuild homes, people were like, "What are you talking about? The hurricane was a couple years ago. That stuff's done and over with." It's like, no, it's not. It may not be in the forefront of your mind, but the problems are still there. There's still people who don't have roofs on their house or don't have electricity, who are just about homeless. You may not hear about it, they may not talk about it, but it's still there and going on. And we have a tendency to follow the news cycles and get bored with things and move on. That's why we have problems that come back around. We get worked up about it. We get excited about it. We say we want to change things, but then it's on to the next thing. And that's forgotten. And I hate to say that Corona virus is one of those things that everybody's kind of moved on, that we've forgotten about it, that we're not taking the precautions that we were before. And herein lies the problem. You may be done with corona, but corona ain't done with you. And that's where you're seeing places that are beginning to have spikes again. Places that were opening before, their numbers are increasing, not decreasing. And if we think about how it was back in March, that all of a sudden the NBA season was canceled, the baseball season was canceled. All these things were canceled at the front end of this thing. That it's conceivable that this thing rears up its head again, and maybe as bad or maybe even worse. We all saw in New York how that got to be. New York, well, they took care of business, the numbers came down. But now you're seeing little New Yorks that are beginning to start. So that will still put in question whether or not we have a season. And getting these team commissioners together to start trying to have a conversation on how this is going to work, it's going to be huge. So definitely I'm going to be watching while we're doing the show, and try and get a taste of it, to see what it's going to be, what they have to say, the fears. You know, the leagues want to get back to work. Some of the players, they're not too sure. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. In other news, this is going to be an interesting dynamic, because we all know that Dez Bryant loves the Dallas Cowboys. Dez Bryant still wants to be playing with the Dallas Cowboys, and Dez Bryant is still putting in the work. He's working his ass off, as you can see. Boom. I don't know why this keeps stopping on me. But he's getting his routes and stuff on. He's out there running. The Achilles and things seems to be doing better. He looks like he's slimmed down a bunch. And the question will be is, will the Dallas Cowboys have interest in him? After seeming to be loaded at wide receiver, drafting CeeDee Lamb in the first round, paying Amari Cooper, having a Michael Gallup, is there a need for Dez Bryant on the team? He wants to be there. However, the question you have to ask is, with the Cowboys let Dez go. I believe, and Dez's uncle. Please, I'm not trying. Please, I know you're gonna email me. I know you're gonna email me and stuff. I'm not trying to sully Dez or anything else like that. But you have to understand, there's so many things that go into a player being there. Doesn't mean that a player's not loved. Emmitt Smith was loved by the Dallas Cowboys, but at some point, Emmitt Smith's production wasn't there, and the price tag was too much. Sometimes you have guys that just don't fit a change in narrative. You have different players that come in. Maybe there's, a dynamic that's not there, and you start looking at guys and saying, well, do I hold on to that big salary, or do I start rebuilding? Do I look at this dynamic of the guys not working together well? For whatever reason, Dak and Dez did not click at first. They did not click that well. 2017, was it 2017? 2016 in the playoffs, they played really, really good. The first half of the season, Dez was hurt. Second half of the season, and I thought for sure that after the playoffs, after we lost to Seattle, that Dez and Dak were going to be a thing. Because I looked at that playoff game against the Seahawks and, against Green Bay, and I said, this is going to be it. This is just the next step. They're finally getting together. But 2017, they just never clicked. It just never happened. And, it was one of those things that one player may work great with one and another one might not. It's just one of those things that happen. But more than anything else, you look at Dez and say, Dez is getting older. Dez has had injuries and things like that. The bigger question is Dez's presence in social media. And especially after kind of calling out Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones through the protests and the marches. I really don't think at this point that Dez is going to be a viable option for the Cowboys. I could be 100% wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I just don't see that dynamic. Now, he's getting there. Dez is getting in shape. Dez is running nice routes. He's getting together. He's gotten his body together. And Dez can play if he wants to play. The question will he be willing to play for anybody other than the Dallas Cowboys? And I don't have that answer for you. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Dez Bryant. Should the Cowboys take a flyer on bringing him back in? Or will Dez Bryant and his social media presence be something the Cowboys will worry about? All right, guys. I've got something else coming up for you guys later on today that we'll be talking about. I just got to sit down here and get my mind right and everything else to get this together. But I hope everybody out there I can't seem to get out of my mind what Gerald McCoy was saying. Gerald McCoy kept saying, and I need to get that clip and just save it. Spread love. Spread love. You know, our country used to be selfless. Things that we're going through right now in a different era might be treated differently. During World War II, this country came together to fight the common enemy, the Nazis. The Nazis that were spreading all across the world, all across the globe, along with the Japanese and the Italians, the axis of evil. They literally had taken over Europe. It was only England that stood between us and the Nazis. We came together as people, sacrificing your cars for the metal or your rubber from your tires. You had ration cards where you were only allowed to buy so much. And people were taking some of their rations and donating that back into the war effort. The country came together to succeed. But now it seems like that whole era of people is gone. And it's all about me as opposed to the common good. People don't give a rat's ass about how what they do affects anybody else. It's only about me and what I want. People are so selfish. We are all in this together, and we all make a difference on how we get through it. And yet so many people are like, screw y'all, I don't care. This is what I want to do. And as long as we do that, it's going to make it that much harder, or maybe even make it more impossible to succeed. Spread love. Spread love.